The Kazuki Network presents
Rise Up Single Mom. Hey moms, and welcome to the Rise Up Single Mom podcast with Clarissa Joy, empowered by the Kazuki Network. I am so excited about this brand new podcast, and today I'm going to be speaking with guest Katrina Kimball. I've known Katrina for a number of years. She is such an amazing lady. She's been in the health field for over 20 years, and she also is the founder of Awaken Wellness Consulting. The mission of AIM is to advocate, inform, and motivate. Who doesn't need that? Others to pursue whole person wellness. Wellness is more than just the physical, the body, but the emotional, social, relationships, and finances that impact the quality of life. In this work, she strives to build collaborative partnerships with individuals, organizations, and the community to understand the critical need for self-care, reducing stress, and building healthy relationships. So as you ladies know, affirmations have been amazing in my life over the last 10 years. And each podcast, we're going to start off with a transformational affirmation. So say it with me. I will live well, work well, and play well. Say it again with confidence. I will live well, work well, and play well. We'll be right back with the Rise Up Single Mom podcast, empowered by the Kazuki Network, with our special guest, Katrina Kimball.
3.
He was cheating, and back then they had a little bit more decorum and discretion.
B.
These days they don't even.
Well, they played their
care.
position.
C.
And if you get you some goodies outside, whatever, the agreement is, I don't know about it. You keep it private, and it never comes to this house.
3BC. 3 Black Chicks on the Kazuki Network.
Hey moms, welcome to the Rise Up Single Mom podcast, empowered by the Kazuki Network. I am talking today with Ms. Katrina Kimball. She's a consultant with Awakening Wellness. We're in the midst of a pandemic, right? Our norm has completely been turned upside down. And this topic is so important today because mental wellness, emotional health really have become almost buzzwords, Katrina, but they're ever so important and critical in this stage of the world, of all of our lives right now. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. This is an exciting time to be here with you on this podcast. And you're so right. I think the pandemic has actually heightened the importance of mental and emotional wellness. So
Absolutely.
I think it's going to help shift all of us.
So let's get into it. You started Awakening Wellness some years ago. Tell us a bit. How and why did you start Awakening Wellness, and what is it really?
So I started Awakening Wellness back in 2017.
Okay.
And my background was in human resources, project management, talent development, traditional corporate job.
You're real organized, aren't you?
Yes. And although I enjoyed what I was doing, but I didn't see us really helping people. And one of the things that I was struggling with was terminating people and firing people.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that they were not good employees. It's just that they didn't have the tools to manage their personal life that was impacting their professional life.
Okay.
So, and then I went through that. I got downsized, not once, not twice, but 3 times. I got downsized 3 times by the same company, rehired.
The same company? Wait. The same company?
Yes. Downsized.
Wow.
I was laid off.
It's not funny, but
yeah, I got laid off, called back,
gosh.
got laid off, called back, got laid off again. And I found myself just really unhappy. I just felt like, as a single mom, I can't get nothing right.
Wow. Yep.
I felt like, okay, what is wrong with me? And I was so fortunate that I had an opportunity to attend a wellness retreat, which was the first time I ever went to one.
Oh, really?
And I started studying about whole person wellness and understanding that all of us, our relationships, where we work, how we work, how we treat ourselves. Wellness is more than counting calories and how much water I drink and how much fruits and vegetables I have.
The physical, because that's what our minds automatically go to when we hear the word wellness. We think, oh, we got to exercise and eat right.
Yeah. And what I discovered is truly an inside job. And that's what awakening is about. I was awakened to realize that there was more to me than just a job title. And that's why I started Awakening Wellness, because I want every person I encounter to realize there is greatness in you. You just have to awaken it.
Yes.
And I want you to be well and not perfect. And as women, when I work with women, that's my tagline, because as women, we are expected to be perfect. They want your hair perfect, your weight perfect, your makeup perfect.
Yes, your clothes, your shoes, your everything.
Even in this pandemic, during a Zoom, I was sharing with someone, I was on a Zoom meeting, and there was a guy on there. He had been wearing the same ratty gray shirt for 3 days, but the person that was leading the call was commenting on the women's appearance. I'm like, we still got to be perfect, even in the middle of a pandemic?
Of course, especially as a woman, right?
So, and why I picked the logo that I have, which is a lotus flower, because lotus flowers grow out of the darkest, murkiest water, but it blossoms into this beautiful flower. And we can grow out of the darkness. Even in the midst of this pandemic, there is some greatness in all of us. So that's why I started Awakening Wellness. And when I encounter and work with individuals, whether I'm working with companies, a lot of what I do is around workshops and training, because we have not been taught what it means to be well.
Wow. I love that. And, you know, there are so many single moms listening to this show and just thinking about my past experience as a single mom. And as you mentioned, that dark place, right? And how do you grow from that? How do you evolve out of that? And sometimes people all around us make assumptions that we're okay, but we really may not be okay. So very, very awesome points that you've brought out there. And I'm so excited that you're here today because, again, this is a topic that is so very much needed. And then you just mentioned that you're a single mom too, right?
Yes.
How many children do you have?
I have 2 sons. And now, you know, I went through a divorce. And so a lot of times being single moms, you know, when I was married, I never thought I'd raise 2 sons. First of all, I never thought I would have 2 children. First of all, let's be clear.
Okay.
Because I was one of those people that was in college. I ain't had no kids. I'm going to have a career. I had a whole plan. That changed.
Isn't that funny when we have a plan and it never works out that way?
Didn't work. My life looks nothing like my vision board from 1987.
Hey, I'm impressed you did a vision board in 1987.
I was blessed. I had some great women around me. But what I discovered by being a single mom is that I just have to be the best parent I can be. I'm not my kid's dad. I'm never going to be their dad, and I'm not going to try to be. But what I can be is be the best mother I can be. And I can try to give my kids the tools they need to navigate this life, because things are going to come upon you.
Of course.
And you're going to experience things as a black man that I'm not going to experience as a black woman.
And you've got 2 sons, right? Okay. And how old are they now?
Whew. Now you want me to tell you my age, y'all. No problem.
Well, you look good.
I'm proud. My boys are 31 and 28, and I'm a grandmother now.
Congratulations.
I have 4 grandkids, so now I'm Nana. So
okay, Nana.
So I'm Nana and a mom, but even with my grandsons, I still have grandboys.
Wow.
You know, it's something that I keep having guys in my life, but my little boys, even my grandsons now at 11 and 6, and the other one that's younger than that, just trying to teach them to be well. Whatever you're doing in life, just try to do it well.
Sure.
It's not about competition. It's about understanding your strengths and pulling on those strengths and then going forth and being the best person you can be.
Okay, so let me ask you a quick question, Katrina. So you have been in wellness now for over 20 years. Your sons are older than that. What would you say, looking back, right, when you were a single mom, when they were younger, is a bit different from your thoughts now that you're, you know, engrossed into the whole wellness industry? What would you say to single moms?
I think the biggest thing I would say to single moms, and I wish somebody had to say it to me, it's okay if you're not okay. I don't have to be perfect every day. I don't have to get it right every day.
Right.
I'm not going to get it right every day. And I wish I had somebody to tell me it's okay to not be okay some days. It's okay some days to not feel like cooking and doing the laundry. Life is not going to end if you don't do that load of towels today.
Okay.
It's, you know, life is not going to end if you miss one of my kids' events. I remember when my kids, my boys have always been athletic. They've been playing football like peewee all the way through high school, through college. Okay. And I remember one year, Whitehaven High School was going to state competition, and I basically told the coach, I'm not coming to every event. because I'm a mom. I'm one person. So just be
doing
okay.
it alone.
One alone. Just remember, it's okay if you're not okay.
Wow. That's some pretty profound advice. We're going to be right back. And when we come back, we're going to be talking into flipping the discussion when we think about mental illness. You have a pretty clever, different perspective to that on the other side of the conversation. So we'll be right back. You're listening to Rise Up Single Mom Podcast, empowered by the Kazuki Network.
I got up and went to the gym at 9 o'clock this morning. We talked about on the show the kind of workouts I do. It's not fun. I work out until I feel like I'm either going to pass out or throw up. And when I get to that point, I'm just like, oh, I haven't done either. Guess I got to keep going.
The hell with all of that.
And then after
I got like tasks and stuff to do afterwards.
Exactly. I was tired, boss.
Black Nerd Power on the Kazukian Network.
Hey, moms, and welcome back to the Rise Up Single Mom Podcast, empowered by the Kazuki Network. Today, I'm talking with the beautiful Katrina Kimball, and we're going to go a little bit further into our conversation. And it is so popular to hear the term mental illness, but Katrina, you have a flip to that conversation when it comes to mental wellness versus mental illness. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, for me, one of the main reasons I wanted to flip that topic is because, in the Black community, we're not open to talking about mental illness.
No.
Because, we grew up, what happens in this house stays in this house.
And you brush it under the rug.
And we don't talk about it. There's a lot of stigmas and myths in the Black community. And so what I found when I would have these conversations, specifically with women of color, they won't talk about it. So let's talk about what it means to be mentally well. What are the things that restore you? What are those things that you can do that can heal you? And a lot of times the reason we don't know is because we don't stop and take the time to figure out what we really need, especially as moms. And what I try to remind everyone that I encounter with is that you are a person first. You are a parent, but before you had a child, you were a person.
Right. You were a whole Katrina before those boys.
And you were a whole Clarissa. So what are those things that feed you? What are those things that restore you? What are those things that give you power and strengthen you? Because if you don't know what will heal you and restore you, you know what tears you down.
Sure.
You know the negative things that have happened in your life that has impacted you as a parent. You know about that fight you had with your kid last week. But what about those things that bring you joy? One of the things I encourage people to do, everybody talks about vision boards, but I have what I call I call it my compassion box.
Okay.
I take all my birthday cards, all my thank you notes. I have a big box and I put them in there. And when I start feeling like life is too much for me, I go back and revisit that box and look and remind myself, you know what, I am a good person. There are people that care about me.
Of course.
There are people that value me on those bad days. So we have to figure out what keeps you mentally well, whether it's listening to good music, good food, what feeds your soul. And nobody knows that but you.
So let me ask you this question, Katrina. For some of the single moms out there, they're probably thinking it's literally a struggle and a challenge just to make it from day to day with the essentials, right, of life. So when do they take this break to reflect and do all this realization, right? Let's just be real. How does that happen? How does this start? Like, what's step number one?
And you know what? And I find that we all have 8 hours in every day. You just got to decide what you're going to do with them. For example, while you sitting there watching Real Wives of Atlanta, they were fighting last week while you watching it again. Turn
Katrina.
that off.
Now, that's a popular show. You better watch out.
I mean, turn that garbage off. It's not feeding your soul or your mind. I mean, you have to acknowledge what is working and what's not working for you. You have to identify what you need and then come up with a plan where what's going to work for you. If you have little bitty children, maybe you have to get up 30 minutes earlier and just have some quiet time by yourself. Or maybe when the kids go to bed, you stay up 30 minutes later.
For that me time.
You got to create that space for yourself. And it doesn't mean, and one of the things we have to stop doing as single moms and as parents, you can't stay up late every night and get up early every morning. Pick a day.
It's just too much.
It's too much
on the body,
because
you overextend.
Yeah, you overextend yourself. Studies have shown when you don't get proper rest, that's why a lot of women end up having heart disease. Number one killer of women is heart disease.
Okay.
Followed behind it is stroke, and now Alzheimer's, because your brain never gets to rest. You got to turn those lights off when you go to bed at night.
This is a good point, Katrina.
Yeah.
I don't think we're really tapping into this point because you're right. Between social media, the cell phone, the tablet, the laptop, the TV, the kids, and everything else going on around us, it's constant chaos.
And then your mind, and what you got to realize is even if you have a light in your room, like your cell phone light or the light on your TV, a little bit of light, your brain thinks something is going on. So you may be sleeping, but you're not resting.
Wow.
There's a difference between sleeping and resting. So if you want to go into a full rest, you have to prepare your room. You know, start shutting the house down. Like in my house, everybody knows 9:30, everything's going off. We start preparing for bed. We prepare for rest. Just like
instead of just falling asleep on the couch with TV on.
No, we're not doing none of that. We're not doing none of that.
So many people do.
And then, like, for example, for my family, on Sundays, we have a no technology time from 1 o'clock to 7 p.m. on Sundays. No TV, no cell phones, no nothing.
How long have you guys been doing that?
Over 10 years.
Wow. What has been the impact? Have you seen the difference?
We're more connected. We talk. We go do things together.
Oh, like an in-person conversation? That kind of talk?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We gonna in 2021?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, because the thing is, I started building that foundation with my kids when they were little. And this is the thing single moms got to realize. If you don't start teaching your kids to respect your space and your time, they're not going to respect it when they get older. Like when my kids used to come home from school, the first 30 minutes, no talking. Everybody go change your clothes, get you a snack. Let's decompress. Because I've been dealing with traffic and you've been dealing with little people. And I've been dealing with your little people, mamas and dads all day. So for 30 minutes, everybody sit down and just create that space. You got to start teaching them and instilling it.
Wow.
And the reason I know that work because now my sons are adults. They do the same thing to their kids. When they get home, the first 30 minutes, everybody stop. Even with virtual school.
Sure.
When school lets out at 3:15, the first 30 minutes, everybody has to go chill.
So what I'm hearing with this is just major intention.
You got
we
to.
can't allow life to just, whatever comes, whatever goes, we just go whatever the way the wind is blowing that day, right? And we just end up somewhere. So you're saying take the reins by the horn and just really grab a hold of it and say, what is your regimen? What do you want your life to be like? What do you want to do?
And create that. And it's okay. People may not like it. And it's okay, but it ain't their life. You don't need permission. The biggest thing parents need to understand, specifically women, you don't need permission to live your life. Stop asking people if it's okay.
Yes, say that. And, on one of the previous episodes we had with Joy Doss, we talked about the subconscious of a single mom and how we say things and we do things subconsciously for that justification or to show or tell somebody who we really are inside other than being a single mom. So I think that's so key. That's spot on, Katrina.
And if you don't do that, that's how triggers come in. That's how things that send you reeling. That's how you get stressed out when you see the laundry and you see the shopping list. So you use technology to make your life better.
I love that word you just used, triggers, because that was going to be my next question. Some single moms may not even realize they're in this place of, what may not be healthy wellness, right? So what are triggers? What does that mean?
Triggers are anything that will increase your stress. That make you feel depressed, that makes you feel isolated, and that even make you angry, So you just have to kind of step back and assess what are those things, and then try to remove those things from yourself. Even conversations. You can have loved ones, you can have family members, and if you talk to that loved one, they send you reeling, modify how you talk to that person.
Hold on. We're going to have to put a pause right there because I think that's a biggie for a lot of single moms. So you're listening to Rise Up Single Mom, the podcast empowered by the Kazukian Network. We're going to be right back and we're going to dig a little bit deeper into those awful triggers. We'll be right back.
I'll play the blues for you.
Well, that was his on stage look.
Right.
He had the dancing ladies with him all the way to us, and they were all about 40-something back then.
Especially when,
Drop that zero.
That's the name of this song. I gotta sleep with one eye open. Shirley Brown.
Gotta watch you.
The thrill is gone. Blues in the Basement, part of the Kazukian Network.
The thrill is gone away.
Kazukian. Welcome back, moms. You're listening to the Rise Up Single Mom podcast, empowered by the Kazukian Network. And today we're speaking with Katrina Kimball. And in the last segment, we started the conversation about triggers. And I want to dig deeper into this notion because it's not something that's really innate, or it's not the first thing that comes to mind to mom. So dig unpack that for us when it comes to triggers.
Okay, I'll use myself for example. One of the things that I know is a trigger for me is when specifically a male says, I got you. Okay, and I'm going to tell you why. Because when I was married and when I was going through my divorce, my ex-husband used to say, I got you all the time. Okay. And he referred it to like paying bills and taking care of stuff. Well, I can't tell you how many times I came home and the lights were cut off because he didn't pay the light bill. Or I can't tell you the fact that we had 2 cars repossessed because he didn't pay the car note. So for me, when I hear the word, I got you, it sends me somewhere. And I had to acknowledge that when other people say that they're not him.
Okay.
And so one of the things I did was, and every woman can do this, take some time, first of all, create a space to be quiet.
Okay.
Make 2 lists, words that empower you and words that deplete you.
Okay.
Because if you don't acknowledge you can't fix what you don't acknowledge.
That's right. That's so true.
Because I don't know what your triggers are. Your triggers may not be mine.
Right. Everybody's different because your journey's different. My background's different. So what I hear and see from, current versus in the past, it's going to be different for me.
Yeah.
That's
even
true.
smells. Like write down things like, I love the smell of coffee. Anybody that's close to me know I have 2 devices, chocolate and coffee. Oh, I love a fresh pot of coffee.
Okay.
And I wrote that down. That gets me going. But I also wrote down that the smell of lavender, it reminds me of a bad season of my life.
Oof.
And so you have to acknowledge the things. And when you make that list, don't just think about the words, but think about the actions. You want to think about the thoughts, the actions, the sounds, and the smells.
The associations with those words.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that will help you identify what your triggers are. Because you may be going off on somebody that has absolutely nothing to do with what you're talking about.
Right. And they're like, I thought saying I got you was positive. I thought she'd be happy to hear that I got her.
Yeah. But
and you're thinking the exact opposite.
Yeah, because every time I heard I got you, that meant something negative's going to happen. And every time it did. Every single time. And so you just have to spend some time with yourself. And I think it's important that you ask for help. Let people help you. As single moms, okay, y'all, Superwoman is gone. We blew up the cape in the mast.
Bye-bye.
We had her funeral back in 2019. Let people help you.
Yes.
And by letting people help you is you got to ask yourself, what do I need right now?
Yeah.
And go out and create what you need. It's versus you got to create versus what you allow. And that means sometimes going outside your family. Yes. Your family got their own triggers and their own problems. Stop expecting your family to be there. They're not.
And the truth, Katrina, when I became a single mom years ago, no one in my family was a single mom. So I didn't really feel like they understood, my situation. And I really didn't want to share because of that difference of background.
Absolutely. And I can relate because my father was a minister.
Same here.
Everybody in my family was, I had ministers everywhere and being divorced and going through what I was going through in a small community and everybody knew my mom and dad, that was just extra
pressure,
stress.
Right.
So I learned to ask for what I need. And one thing that I think is important for single moms that may be working, use your employee assistance program, use your EAP.
Right.
Your company is paying for that service. I don't care if you get 4 free sessions or 6 free sessions. Go and talk to someone outside of your family. I'm using it right now because the one thing about this pandemic, it has put us all on a playing field when it comes to the emotional and mental wellness. And as single moms, you have to pull onto those resources. So ask for help. Talk to your EAP representative if you're working. Even if you're in a faith-based organization, they may appoint you to a counselor. Talk to your physician. Okay. Even if you're going to some of our federal qualified clinics like Church Health Center or even Christ Community, they all have behavioral health people on staff. So
that's great.
So ask for resources, and if push comes to shove, go Google it. Look for behavioral services in your community. That's
we
free.
all got a cell phone.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you about this community. I think that's such a important word when it comes to moms. Break that down for us. Community.
Your community will be the people that can support you.
Okay.
Where you are on your journey. They understand where you are right now, but they're there to support you on as you continue to grow and become better and stronger. We're all developing. And your community will not necessarily always include your family. You may have to go out and build and recruit people. I will tell you, my support system does not look nothing like my family. I have an Irish priest. I have a lady from South Africa. I have a Caucasian woman. I have a Irish nun. But my community consists of the people that can help me in all areas of my life.
Absolutely.
My professional life. They can help me in my spiritual walk.
Mm-hmm.
They can help me in relationships. They can help me with my finance. I have a guy who is a financial planner, and I met him at an event 2 years ago, and I just called him. I said, look, I'm tired of being broke. Teach me how to set up a budget.
So this is an important point, Katrina, that you're hitting on. And it's, especially in the Black community, we are, raised and taught to be so prideful. And we don't realize that actually may get in the way of us being willing to open up and to share and to ask. That's what you just said, to ask for help and for assistance and to say, hey, I'm here. I see you are where I want to be. Can you assist me? Or I think you may be a amazing resource. Can you, come into my circle?
Absolutely. And the thing is, everybody you meet is struggling with something. They might not be struggling with what you're struggling with.
Facts.
Like the gentleman that I met, and I'm not ashamed. I mean, he worked at a credit union. When I was going through my divorce, I didn't even have a bank account. So I went and opened up a credit union account.
Okay.
And the manager there, he was struggling with his weight. Mm-hmm. I was struggling to keep money in my account. So I referred him to a nutritionist, and he helped me learn how to set up a budget.
So y'all had a barter going on.
Oh, yeah. You better barter, girl. Some stuff you don't have to pay for. Barter for
by
some
any
service.
means necessary.
Because the thing is, you have something to offer. And there are people out there that's willing to work with you, but you got to open your mouth. You got to
let's put a pin right there.
Closed mouth don't get fed.
Your mouth. You've got to be willing to say, hey, help me. You've got resources. I need those resources. This is so important for moms.
And do not expect that your family may buy into it. Mm-mm. Because this is the thing. You are an individual. You may be in a family, but you're an individual, and you have to understand what it is that you need in this season of your life, and don't be afraid to ask for it. And then if that person, you reach out to somebody and they can't help you, ask the next person. Because I believe you got to keep acting until you get what you need.
Keep knocking.
Keep knocking. Mm-hmm. It's not a matter how many doors, as long as if it's the right door.
That's right. Wow. This has been so amazing, Katrina. You have provided actionable steps that moms can take to go take, the next move. What are you going to do next? Any final words? Any last statement for single moms?
The one thing I would encourage every single mom to do is, and I know we're all in digital, print out a calendar.
Okay.
Color code where you're putting your time and energy. Mm-hmm. And make you a color such as purple. If you don't see enough purple on your calendar, you're doing too much for other people.
Wow, Katrina, this has been powerful. We're going to be right back with some closing remarks for today's episode. You've been listening to the Rise Up Single Mom podcast, empowered by the Kazukian Network. Hey, moms. Thanks so much for listening to the Rise Up Single Mom podcast, empowered by the Kazukian Network. Today's episode has just been so eye-opening and transformational for me here talking with Katrina Kimball from the Awakening Wellness Consulting Group. It's National Minority Health Month. And the nuggets she has dropped today, how she flipped the conversation from mental illness to mental wellness. What I kept hearing was being so very intentional, creating that community, asking for help. I just want to close out with our affirmation that we kicked off with. Say it with me, moms. I will live well, work well, and play well. Don't forget, moms, head over to social media. Look for us on the Kazukian Network. You can go to the website. You can download the app, Kazukian. Just search for Rise Up Single Mom. It's been a blast sharing with you all. Again, you're listening to Clarissa Joy on the Rise Up Single Mom podcast, empowered by the Kazukian Network. Rise Up Single Mom.
Directed, produced, and distributed by Kazukian.